It's just gone lunchtime. This is All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Masukhora. It is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following up for you on channel today have advanced. Here's your lunchtime update. Our reporters have been out and about bringing you the latest on news developments. I'm joined now by Siphamandla Goge in Boksburg and Manqoba Mchunu is in the capital in Pretoria. Manqoba, let's start with you, of course, in the capital. That is where you've been following the murder trial of Senzo Meyiwa. The state's witness at the moment, Colonel Steyn, is releasing some bombshells to the court, for lack of a better expression. What more can you tell us about what happened today in court and what he said?
Well, certainly, Maseko, I think several bombshells that were dropped in court by the state's fourth witness. This is Colonel Lambertus Steyn, who, of course, had conducted a cell phone analysis of some of the cell phones belonging to the suspects as well as those that were inside the house. I think yesterday we heard just of the link between one of the accused, Fiso Ntuli, with Kelly Khumalo, suggesting that there had been communication between Fiso Ntuli and Kelly Khumalo just days before Senzo Meyiwa had been shot. And today we learned of the linkages between the suspects in this particular matter. So we understand, Maseko, that there was phone calls that were made by accused number 5 to some of the accused, 4 of them in particular, just days before Senzo Meyiwa had been shot and killed. And this suggests that these accused had known each other and that they had, communicated with each other in the lead to this particular incident. What we understand is that accused 5, Fiso Ntuli, had also made contact with accused 2, Bongani Ntanzi, as well as accused 3, which is Mchunu in this particular instance, as well as accused number 1. So those calls, according to Steyn, were calls that were retrieved from the cell phone information that he had analyzed at the time. So there does appear, Maseko, that there was communication between these particular suspects in this matter. But I think another interesting bit was around what happened to Senzo Meyiwa's phone. And you recall that last week we heard evidence from Kelly Khumalo suggesting that Senzo Meyiwa's phone had in fact been found just under the stove at the Khumalos in fact hours after he had been killed. This is when police had been on the crime scene at the time. But what we heard in court is that according to Steyn, they were able to trace that Senzo Meyiwa's cell phone was in the vicinity of the Botshabelo hospital around 10 o'clock that evening. And this is the time where we know that Senzo Meyiwa had already died. You recall that this incident happened around 8 in the evening, and from there he had then been taken to the hospital. But I think also another shocking revelation is around what happened to Senzo Meyiwa's phone. We understand that there was a SIM swap that was done on Senzo Meyiwa's number on the day, in fact a day after this particular shooting had happened. We understand that this SIM swap was then put on another device which belonged to a David Mathebula, and what we understand from this is that he was also one of the soccer players. There were 8 calls that were made between David Mathebula and Kelly Khumalo a day after the shooting. It's not clear who was calling who at that particular point, but also as far as the suspects are concerned, there was also some of the photos that were studied that were taken from the phone belonging to accused number 3 after he was arrested. And what these photos seem to suggest, Maseko, is that this accused was at that particular time, or just days before the shooting happened, he had taken photos where he had dreadlocks, which showed that Mchunu, just before the shooting, had dreadlocks, and this of course suggesting that perhaps he was one of those intruders that some of the witnesses had spoken about, the intruder that had dreadlocks. But I want us to take a listen to some of that evidence as far as the SIM swap that was done on Senzo Meyiwa's phone and what Steyn had to say about this in court.
We move to the next one. Here we got the handset number now. Handset number is 701 804 021687.
22.
That's the number of the handset. This handset and the number receive a call from cell phone number 27872 300 401. Also on the 27th of October 2014 at 16:21:50. And just to point out to the court, my lord, it's the same SIM card, the new one, with the number 65501 257 060 4203. Then we follow up on the handset number and then link to the number 2772 149 3899. And it belongs to David Mathebula, and there was 8 calls between David Mathebula and Kelly Khumalo.
I'm sorry, Colonel, can you just tell the court how did you establish that it was a call between Kelly Khumalo
yes.
and David Mathebula?
If I go to the section 205, then I could identify
yes.
that there was the 8 calls was between that number and that number from Kelly Khumalo, but the phone was still off. All the calls has been called forwards. But my opinion is it could be that it's an old phone of David Mathebula that they just used to put in the new SIM card.
All right, now to Siphamandla. The Veterans League is holding its elective conference. You managed to speak to Snuki Zigalala, who we believe is one of the front runners. Please give us an update, especially on what he says.
Indeed, that conference is set to get underway just after 1:30 today. We expect the Secretary General of the governing African National Congress, Fikile Mbalula, to address the gathering. It has not officially started yet. They were busy with logistics. All veterans are busy having lunch now. After their lunch break, then they will start with the conference. It's been smooth so far in terms of the logistics. Of course, you would know that you are dealing with well-experienced politicians and members of the African National Congress's Veterans League in this regard. So they will discuss a number of policy issues and elect their leadership. This is a structure that was disbanded before, and there was a national task team that was put in place. They have faced a number of issues that are common within ANC leagues. I'm talking about the ANC Youth League, ANC Women's League, and the Veterans League. All of them have had interim structures in place. So this third National Congress of the Veterans League of the ANC is very important because they will get an opportunity to elect their leaders. They are regarded as one of those important members of the party. It's a prestige league. You need to be 60 years or more and have a record of service of more than 40 years for you to qualify to join them. Not everyone and anyone who's above 60 with a record service of 40 years qualifies. You get recruited to join the Veterans League, so you can see how difficult it is to become part of the Veterans League. Yes, the talking point is the issue of the contestation for the position of the president of the Veterans League of the ANC. Snuki Zigalala is surely vying for that position. He wants to be re-elected. There was the issue of Tony Yengeni, who had raised his hand and said he was available to contest, but he was later told that he can only attend this conference as a former NEC member of the previous structure, and he therefore does not qualify to contest because, according to Snuki Zigalala, I asked him that question to say, why is Tony Yengeni not going to be allowed to contest? And he says because he has not been nominated by branch delegates to come here as a branch delegate. He has not been nominated by branches to attend this conference, but he has been invited as a former or outgoing NEC member of the previous structure. It's something that he's unhappy with. Of course, we do not know what will happen, but he will be attending this conference. Whether he will contest or not, it remains to be seen. So that's the talking point of this conference for now. And the eagerly awaited outcome in terms of the contestation is that position of the president of the Veterans League. Snuki Zigalala was set to go head-to-head with Tony Yengeni. Now that there
is that technicality about Tony Yengene. Will he still contest? It remains to be seen. So what is currently happening is that the conference will get underway probably 30 minutes to an hour from now. There will be reports that will be delivered, and those reports will have to deal with issues of political reports, organizational reports, and moving forward. But on Sunday, we expect the president of the ANC, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, to address the gathering. By that time, they would have elected their officials. That process is expected to happen this evening. They're expected to nominate and vote for the officials. Tomorrow, the announcement is expected as to who are the newly elected officials of the Veterans League. So July sees all the leagues of the ANC concluding or convening their elective congresses. This is the last one. There was the Youth League, Women's League, it's the Veterans League. A number of issues will be discussed here, but the veterans of the ANC are unhappy with some structures of the ANC working with the EFF in some municipalities, and they say moving forward when it comes to coalitions, they do not think that the two parties share political ideology and same values and principles. So therefore they say they'd rather see the ANC being relegated into opposition benches rather than working with the EFF, because they do not believe that there are similarities there. Take a listen to Snooki Zigalala explaining that part.
EFF does not believe in our democratic, in our constitutional democracy. It does not. EFF does not believe in the rule of law. And so how can you go into an alliance or in a coalition with such a party? Right now, if you look at EFF, the people who are being praised at their gala dinner are people who are involved in cigarette smuggling. So what kind of a party is that? If you look at the IEC report, where all political parties have to report their income since last year, you go on your own. EFF has never reported its income. Where are they getting the income from? Where are they getting the income? We, as the African National Congress and other parties, we report our income. And so that what you are saying, we don't have the same values, traditions, and the principles of EFF. They don't believe in the rule of law. They don't even respect our constitution. And so how do you go into a coalition with such a party? And so what we are saying, we don't want coalition at all. We believe that if we have lost in a municipality, we must go back to the benches, as benches, and must fight from there.
All right, that was your eNCA lunchtime update from all angles with reporters Siphamandla Goge and Manqoba Mchunu. Thank you very much, team. Let's leave it there for now.